This is the only beef sandwich recipe you'll ever need. I promise you, this is just a 10 out of 10 experience. My favorite part about this recipe is that it's super affordable. I'm using beef shank, but you could easily use chuck. Just any cheaper cut that needs some slower cooking. We're gonna hit the shank with a little oil, get generous with some garlic powder, some fine black pepper, smoked paprika. We follow that up with oregano and onion. And per usual, we flip them over and show the other side the same type of love. Last but not least, we generously salt this. And just keep in mind that I purposely over-season these. Just because they're gonna flavor that cooking broth we put them in. In a very hot pot, we begin to sear our beef. When toasty and roasty, give them a flip. Onions are the building blocks of slow cooked meat. And then we're gonna follow that up with carrots because we're healthy. This all gets submerged in some broth. We bring this concoction to a rigorous boil. Bay leaf and a cinnamon stick. And then we're gonna cover and let this go low and slow. We're gonna cook until fork tender. This is the easiest part. For a very simple but effective sauce, we start with some mayo. To this, we're gonna add some whole mustard, a decent spoonful of horseradish, and then we're gonna finish with some chives to give it some brightness. Super, super simple, but it is out of this world. After a couple hours, the meat should start falling apart like your life. No. We're gonna take all of our leftover jus and strain it. We're gonna toss that into a separate saucepan, and then we're gonna introduce a cornstarch slurry. All that is half cornstarch, half water, and it's gonna help us thicken and come together. When the meat is cool enough to handle, we're just gonna shred it up with our hands. I like to keep it hydrated with some broth, and that's just gonna help us stay moist and reabsorb all that flavor. This sandwich is very wet, so you wanna use something firm like baguette. The bottom half is gonna get stacked with our shredded beef, a quick ladle of that au jus. We introduce a couple stacks of provolone, and then we toast until melty. Now on the other half of the baguette, we hit it with our sauce. You better get nice and generous. A big shout out to that boy Omnivorous Adam for these hot peppers. I'll be honest, I don't know how to pronounce this. I think it's hot jardinera, I'm not sure. The hot peppers are gonna get stuck to the cheese. Nice and generous because we like it spicy. I'll be honest, I've never been more excited for a sandwich. We serve next to a side of that au jus. That is a work of art. This is what happens when you hang out with Hank and Owen. You gotta dip in the au jus, and as always, na bismillah. That is crazy. The flavors in here are out of this world.